Today, for our wealth strategy, we're going to be talking about habits. Okay? This is really important because we are creatures of habits. But what are habits? Well, they're basically rituals and behaviors that we have learned and that we apply on an almost automatic basis. We are on autopilot here. We don't even think about it. So you can just think about brushing your teeth, combing your hair, getting dressed, doing your shoelaces. These kind of things, you don't need to think about it. You've done it thousands of times, millions of times perhaps. So you don't need to think about it. It's just like in autopilot. All right. Now, what happens is that there are different types of habits, and let's put them in three different categories. So you have the unconscious habits, you have the bad habits, and then you have the good habits. So let's just put them all in these three types of categories. Of course, some of the unconscious habits are good habits, and some of the unconscious habits are bad habits. But just to make the difference so that we can really see, and go through each of them. And that's what we're going to do right now, okay? So today is essentially an introduction to the habits. And in the next couple of sessions, I will get deeper into this topic, okay? So let's get started with the unconscious habits. Now, as I said, what is an unconscious habit? It's something we do. It's a type of behavior, a type of ritual that we do, and we are not even thinking about it, okay? So, for instance, if you're eating, you know how to slice your steak, you know how to eat your pasta. You're not thinking, how am I holding the fork and how am I holding the knife? You don't think about it. It's just a habit. You know how to do it. You know how to take your cutlery, start cutting, start eating, and that's it. Same thing. If you drink a glass of water, how am I going to? No, you have the glass, you have the water, you drink it, that's it. This is the type of habits that are completely unconscious. Okay, so you're tying your shoelace. If you're in the dark, can you tie your shoelaces in the dark? Of course you can. You've done it thousands or millions of times. And what about brushing your teeth? Can you brush your teeth in the dark, even if it's pitch dark, you didn't see anything? Yes, of course. And you've done it many, many, many times. Okay, so these are the types of habits, these unconscious habits that we do on a daily basis. And some of them, if you think about it, let me just ask you this. You know that some top achievers, they're always dressed in the same way. Just a very simple example. Think of how Steve Jobs used to get dressed. He had a black turtleneck sweater and blue jeans. That's it. Do you remember seeing him dressed in any other way? I don't. Probably he did, but I don't remember. That's how I think he was. Now, why would he dress always the same way? And what he does, many other people do the same thing. Why does he do that? Well, because he doesn't even have to think about what he's going to get dressed with. It's in autopilot. He knows it, and it's instinctive. So he uses his mind to solve more complex problems, situations, challenge, issues, etc. So you don't waste brain power thinking about something that can be put completely on autopilot. Okay, and sometimes we all think, oh, what shirt am I going to put today, and what shoes, and what trousers, and anything. Okay, all right, but some people are really implemented that into their habits. They say they don't want to think about it. They don't want to lose or waste any time thinking about it, and that's it. Okay, so you understand now. So these are the type of unconscious habits that free us from all that thinking and allow us to focus on more complex tasks. All right, good. Then we have the bad habits. And, out of top of my mind, we can think of some that are maybe will give you some pleasure because we enjoy it or whatever, but just think it's not a good habit, which is for instance, to smoke, to eat chocolate or sugar in general, to heavy drinking, to do drugs, to get involved with not getting enough sleep, overspending, bad habits about money and so on. So these are the types of habits that we need to identify, and we'll get into that into the next session, identifying bad habits, or more positively, identifying good habits and applying them. So these bad habits, if you think, for instance, of procrastination, I mean, you've been meaning to do something and you just keep on delaying for many, many reasons, and you don't even know why, but it just makes you feel uncomfortable. So you say, I'll do it later, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next week, I'll do it next month, I'll do it next year, whatever, and then you end up never doing it. Okay, so these are the types of habits that you know that you're doing something that is not good. Sometimes you're conscious about it, other times you're not. But when you think about it, this is not very good, and it also creates some kind of stress in your body because this is not good. You instinctively know that it's not good. All right. So these are the bad habits. Now, what about the good habits? And in the next sessions, we will get deeper into this, because this is the core of where I want to go and talk to you about. It's all these the good habits. All right. The first thing or one of the most important things we need to keep in mind is that the human being is a creature of habits. So we need to be careful about what becomes a habit. Okay. So I don't know, if some people have the habit that whenever they have a drink coffee, they must have a cigarette, or whenever they eat something salty, then they need to eat a piece of chocolate, or there are many, many different habits. Okay, so we need to be careful with those habits, because once they are ingrained, it's very hard to get rid of them, because the only way we can get rid of them is by replacing them with something else. So, for instance, let's say as a young child, you had the habit of riding a bicycle. I mean, I think we all learned how to ride a bicycle, and then you don't ride a bicycle for 30 years. And what happens when you go back on a bicycle? It's like you have ridden the bike yesterday. It's still there, even though for 30 years you didn't do anything. Okay, because you learned that, you have the habit, so you have all your neural pathways have that still in there. So you have this cell memory that keeps all that. So you had the habit of riding a bike, you didn't ride for 30 years, and all of a sudden you ride again, and it's like you've done it all your life. Same thing if you go skiing or something, So this is like that's it. All right. So the good habits is for us to really, really make sure that we create some good habits, we implement some good habits, and then we can become their slaves. I enjoy this phrase. I know some of you don't like it, but I like to. Let's create some good habits and become a slave of those good habits, because then we know we are growing, we are doing things, we are going to the next level. Okay, so that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. As I said, I will get deeper into the subject in the next two sessions, and we'll go into all these good habit stuff. All right. So thank you very much. That's what I wanted to share with you today.